Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com, back with another photo of the week. And this week, I'm diving way back to 2004 when I was shooting with my D2H. That's right, D2H. The date on this photo is 2004, 4/18. So it's good that I learned from Greg how to name or date my photos properly, because I can go all the way back to 2004 and get the proper information. So let's look at this photo. So here we go. This is Graham Colton. He is a friend of mine. He is actually the first musician that I photographed at a concert. I spoke about this recently. It was a Counting Crows show, and Graham was opening up with his band, and they came back through town in 2004, and ever since then, I would get a call or an email saying, hey, we're coming to town. Do you want to come out and shoot? So I've stayed in touch with Graham for a long time. Now, the reason I wanted to go back to an old photo is just to edit an older RAW file, but it was one of these cool shots where I literally toted around not a speed light, but an actual white lightning with an umbrella, or I probably used a softbox in this case to basically set up a shot inside the bar we were at. One light setup. You can see where it is. It's off to his right-hand side, my left side of the camera, about a 45-degree angle, so you can see what was going on here on his face. So I liked this lighting. Then sure, lights on the hair and background and things like that probably would have been better, but this is what I was shooting at the time. And let's notice something down here in the far corner. There is an exclamation point in Lightroom. Now, the first time I saw this, I didn't know what it meant, but I clicked on it, and this is what it says. New processing technology is available for this image. Slight to moderate visual changes in noise reduction and sharpening adjustments may occur as part of the update. You may elect to preserve the original settings by selecting cancel. I want to update it, I mean, let's see what the new technology brings us. I want to hit reset. That's where it started. Hopefully I can get it back to where it was. I'm sure I can somehow. I probably can. It's probably even going to edit better now than back then. So I probably didn't set my white balance proper on the flash, but look how it just warms up as I move it. So we went from blue, and as we move up our white balance here, the temperature changes. We get more of a realistic look, and that's where we're at. So this is a D2H. Here are the settings. 1/250th of a second, f8, ISO 250, 20 millimeters. And I was using, I don't know why it's not, was I using a 20 millimeter lens? I was using my 20 millimeter 2.8 on my DX camera. I must have not had my 17-55 yet. So yeah, on the D2H, I had the 20 millimeter Nikon 2.8, which was a great lens on film, not really uber wide on digital, but it was the widest that I had at the time. Wow, that is interesting. So let's get back to editing it. So I already touched my temperature. Contrast, we boomified it just a slight bit here. Mr. Fill Light, it's interesting. So here, guys, I'm not saying that I would do something like this, but we're taking a file that is 7 years old at this point and unlocking stuff that I couldn't unlock back then. You couldn't unlock this stuff back when we were editing in I don't think fill light existed back then. It was just brightness, exposure, blacks, contrast. And I don't even think clarity was around either when I was editing in Adobe Camera Raw in Photoshop, because Lightroom wasn't out yet. So you can see that the power of the RAW file, if I was editing the JPEG back in the day, it would have been destructive. It would have been a destructive file, and to try to make those edits now, or if I let the camera take care of it, it would have been even worse. It was a 4 megapixel camera. So here I have the RAW. I mean, that just says it for itself. That's why I shoot RAW, is I can go back to these old files still, and even files that I shoot today. Who knows what we'll be able to do with those negatives, RAW files, in the future. But this isn't about that again. So I already like this edit a lot more than where it was originally. Let's leave some of this fill light in just for the fun of it for now. Blacks, don't need too many of those today because of the flash. Color-wise, too green, a little bit of magenta, too magenta-y. Just going to go right there. My exposure was pretty close. You know why? Because I used a light meter back then, just to get it right, and that's nice. I like the way Graham looks here. I'm going to throw my general sharpening in here because he doesn't look as sharp. That's partly probably because of the lens. But let's throw some clarity in here and see what we do. Too harsh, too harsh. Too soft, too soft. A little bit better. We're just going to do this +7 right here. And there we go. He looks cool. Vibrance? No. Pull that back. Saturation? Definitely not. It's still a little flat color-wise for my liking, and it's probably my lighting back then. Let me just throw in some more yellow and warm it up a little bit. Yeah, this image was flat. I mean, part of that could be the camera from back then and the lens. And this is, let's see. That was a black and white version I used to do. Yeah, I've edited this photo quite a lot of times. But now that it's been updated, I'm happy with this look of it. And, you know, that's it. It was a simple thing. One light, raw file. Actually, I shot RAW and JPEG at the time because I didn't know which was better. But thankfully, I shot both. So now I have my raw files to edit and update from 2004. That is the photo of the week. This guy's name is Graham Colton. Check him out. He's still around playing. I almost said playing with himself. He is a solo act now. And I guess he does tour with some kind of bands, but it's not the Graham Colton Band anymore. It's just Graham Colton. So check out Graham Colton. I'll put the website up with the post. Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com. See ya.